Silence. Just chilling, giving myself a haircut. Plus, it's like, if it comes out well, you're like so fucking happy. And if it fucking sucks, then you just laugh at your lame ass. uh, yeah. Plus, I feel like it helps me keep my fucking eye calibrated. Like, design-wise. Like, can't be wanting to tell people how their website should look like or how they should present their data and overall energy if I'm not even fucking taking care of mine. So, just keeps me on my toes, sharpening my craft, as a practitioner. Yeah. Anyways, I think it came out pretty well. What do you think? I don't know about the back though. And if it's fucked up, then you see me, tell me, so we can both laugh. Nice. Came out pretty well. I'm kind of happy. Also shamed the puberticals. I had a savannah down there, and like it was weird. I'd get like hairy salt balls when your hair turns white. It's like, oh shit, I'm a Super Saiyan! But yeah, feeling nice and pristine. Yeah. So yeah, that was pretty fun. Pretty good day. Just been actually really chill. I guess kind of hitting a lull. Just a nice little down wait before I get back into the swing of things. Looking forward to start hammering the fucking gym again this week. Really the main things, trying to knock out all the school stuff. I feel like every time I have school assignments or homework, it's like this huge cloud looming over my head, and like it's almost like it impedes me from like executing on the other stuff. Maybe like putting out more content or footage or all that, because I feel like that needs to get done first. So have a test in my programming class coming up this week, so I'm pretty much gearing up for that. Feel pretty confident about it. It's so funny, but like I've come to a realization that a lot of like higher level courses is just like a complexification of the fundamentals. Like right now we're talking about like linked list and array based implementations, which is essentially like it's just another way of saying, hey, you know the concept of an array, which remember as I mentioned in the programming gateway programming articles is just visualize in your mind's eye a huge square that contains small squares that are of equal length and the same data type, right? But it's like this concept, and then here is another way in which we can make it super fucking complicated for no reason. But I mean, like, there's like, so yeah, it's just, I realize, I guess, if I go into the mindset in this with this test that, hey, at the end of the day, what is the root idea or the root structure that I'm dealing with? It's arrays. So when we'll be dealing with nodes and pointers are essentially, so you know how like you can have a variable, right? And you can have a name for a variable, and essentially that variable points to, or what it does, it creates a space in your program that is referenced by the name that you give to your variable, so you can manipulate an interface with a particular piece of data, right? Now you also have what are called pointers, which are essentially things that point to the direct. You can think of it as like the XY coordinates inside the program for that particular piece of data, right? So there's like essentially kind of two ways of messing with data. One is essentially creating a variable, and the other is essentially creating, you can think of it as a signpost that points that particular space. Pointers are really annoying because you have to, it's like, if for example, the thing that you're pointing to is no longer there, then your signpost becomes irrelevant, right? So if, for example, you have a thing that's like 123 Elm Street, right? But then all of a sudden one day, somehow, Elm Street has been renamed to another street, right? Or actually, let's do it. Say, for example, you're driving somewhere, you go into a shopping marketplace, and you see like fucking the sign for a Starbucks or a gym, right? For a gym. And then you're like driving around, and you can't find the gym because the gym moved. Well, all of a sudden that sign becomes irrelevant, right? So you actually have to take down the sign and then put the sign up in its new location. And that's the same thing with pointers. When the space or the data that you're referencing to is no longer there, maybe it's been moved, maybe you've done something else with it, then the pointer becomes irrelevant. And so you actually have to delete it and deallocate it, or delete the pointer, right? And if you don't do that, it actually causes bugs and crashes and all these memory leaks in your code, which essentially, think of it as like fucking kinks in your fucking energy. It's like, what is going on? Don't know where I'm going. This is pointing to nothing. Crash, lag, bang. So that's pretty much it. But it's like, shit I'm learning right now, it's like all about that, like pointers and how like you can actually, different ways of creating a list, of creating an array. So instead of using an array, you can like create a structure that essentially links things together by pointing to the next thing in the list. It's really weird. It's actually really simple, but it's like, I feel like it's so easy to get confused because they use like a new word every time, and like oh my god, but in reality, it's really not that big of a deal. So I don't actually feel kind of good about this test. Just got to finish this assignment and then bang bang. And then also I've kind of tried to. Another reason I guess why I haven't been vlogging a lot was because like I felt like the next vlog was gonna be another rant. Like my last vlog was cool because like I got some ideas out, but at the same time like as much as like I really feel passionate about all the things I said, like mentioning the price stuff and the people and do the right thing, I never want to get that feeling of like becoming like that guy that just always fucking rants. Like I'm always trying to like be balanced and tempered, even when I know that something I'm saying is right, because I feel like it allows the quality of my words and my communication of it to be so fucking keen, pure, and on point, right? And I love when like my passion takes me, like the last one, because it's really cool, because it just outshines or just shows how much it really means to me. But at the same time, I don't want it to become like a pattern. Like I was literally the other day, I was like, okay, next one, because I had more ideas. Like I was just kind of some of the stuff's going on. And they're talking, funny enough, what's been just on my mind, like women and girls and the male-female dynamic going on in society, and how like, for example, relationships tend to, a lot of the times what happens is, so like I've been, like guys always talk about like, man, girls are poison dripping us, right? If you're into like some of like the dating and like pickup stuff, you'll hear that a lot, where like it's pretty much when guys, or we essentially, not believe, but it's true, where girls, what they do is when they're insecure and they're not growing, they essentially kind of like putz shame the guy, like downplay him, ridicule him, tease him, just outrightly, straight up, like absolute lack of empathy, absolute lack of like social awareness, especially when they're like out and about with their friends or meeting someone, right? Instead of just being nice, like literally, it's so crazy how fucking Gary has this on point. Like just how being nice can literally do so much for you. Being nice and having good manners, like it can do so much for you. But what happens a lot of time in relationships, girls just it's almost like they take their man for granted, and so they start like fucking poking holes at him, and like essentially what poison dripping is like slowly over time eroding on the dude's self confidence, and so now it results in the guy being like lost, essentially, not being centered, not being grounded, not being in touch with his masculine or feminine self, like just being confused and constantly doubting himself. And instead of just him actually being on point mentally and emotionally, even spiritually, he'll just constantly just be second guessing himself. And what happens, is like the girl at that point takes the lead, right? So that's the whole fucking the women wearing the pants in a relationship, and it's crazy and funny because like those girls in those relationships will tend to like whine and bitch about how, oh my man, it's not a man. I have to wear the pants, but yet at the same time they're literally creating and doing the things that create the cycle for all these negative things to happen. And the tragedy is that in all that, where the man could have helped her grow and blossom as a flower, now he doesn't do that. And even further, he regresses, right? So that's where stupid shit like domestic abuse or violence or even, I guess, rape comes about, right? Because he just has had it so much, and like he feels like there's no other way to vent that energy. There's no way to go. If he talks about it, he just gets shot down, right? And like society just tells him, oh, just supplicate to her on some level. Because that's kind of what it tells us. It doesn't tell us like, hey, love yourself, love your opinions and what you have. Love the way you see the world. Look at the world through your own eyes, as opposed to always just defaulting to what people tell you, right? So it creates this thing where he's just constantly, it just reinforces that self-doubt. And so now, all of a sudden, he just like lashes out. He has like insecurity issues and what, blah, 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 right? And I'm not saying this to like excuse away rape, right? Because that's not good. Like, that's never okay. But I'm trying to essentially provide another perspective for the root cause of why these things occur. Because I hate this thing that has happened, that's happening where we're essentially always pointing fingers at the other person. Instead of asking ourselves, what did I do that contributed to this shitty situation? And I feel like if we all did that collectively, the world would be a lot better, right? It's like when Tai Lopez is like, sweep your own front yard before criticizing the other person's, right? So it's like by doing that, right, by working on ourselves, just literally working on being nice and like working on honing our crafts, our talents, working on learning and developing each other as a person, we're helping the other person by being better because we're showing them that despite all the bullshit that maybe they had been surrounded with growing up, despite all the past experience that they had, maybe with other partners, dating partners, or people they've met, or friends, even family, right? Even family. Like, sometimes family is like the source of fucking poison, right? And it was something I was actually going to say. It's like, what if, and it kind of was like segueing into like that video that I mentioned on stocks and business and whatnot. It's like I feel like a lot of times all these businesses don't want to do social media because on some level it would expose who they are, right? Like, and it's something I'm gonna touch on in my video. I fully believe the most successful businesses have this mindset of it's not employees, but it's literally family. And because it's family, you're literally raising them. See, um, one of the game changers for me was realizing that if I want to build a really successful business or a really successful anything for that matter, I have to treat every customer, every interaction like if it was family, like if I was raising them, like if they were my child, like that. Back to that grandfather frame I mentioned a while ago. And so, how is this done? By being good myself, by being nice myself, by doing the right thing myself. Because I can't be telling people to do the right thing when I'm not doing the right thing. I can't be telling people not to fucking steal and lie and do all this shit if I'm stealing and lying and all this shit. Because I believe, again, before you say anything, your energy is felt, right? And energy is so fucking real because we all live on the same planet. And we're all linked by this spiritual link, by this virtue of just being on this planet. We all essentially share the same air. That's why we are one wave, right? Now, because of that, there are some inherent properties that are at play just by virtue of being, right? For example, like whether someone tells you, admits to something or not, you kind of always have this vibe that they're telling the truth or not. And that's why the best businesses like Gary's and like his and very few out there, can't even think of any. It's because you can feel the truth, right? Like what they always talk about, real, recognize real type of shit, like because it's true. And truth can never you can't ever water it down. When it's watered down, you just know, and you can feel it. So before anyone ever says anything, you can always feel the vibe. Kind of going back to my video, the intent. You can always sense their intent and their intention. And my point is, imagine if there are higher level beings operating at such a higher level that like words and language isn't even what we think of, right? Like to them, it's literally like in the movies, in those alien movies where they think by thought and like it's so symbolic more than just the words. But it's a combination of images and like sounds that just mutate to create this thing that conveys a message, right? On top of that, imagine if what, for example, we see is like the form, right? We see maybe a girl dressed in a nice dress with big tits and an ass, right? And tight clothes that reveal those curves in a very sexual or sensual way. But to them, imagine if they see a wave. Like they literally see every single thing that exists, life form, object, whatever it is, has a wave. Because at the end, that is what we are. We are just waves vibrating, right? And so imagine if those higher level beings also have the blueprint, or if you want the baseline of what a sound wave is. Kind of going back to my, kind of deleted it, but I'll probably work on putting it back. But I was talking about swag surfing at harmonic resonance, which is essentially the idea that like there is this cadence or this rhythm where when you're in touch with your soul, your spirit, when you're breathing right from the diaphragmatic breathing, when your mind is clear, like you're essentially in perfect rhythm with the earth. And so what happens now, everything just works. Everything's just so fucking swaggy, right? You're healthy. You're always healthy. It's like you have this perpetual source of energy, and you can always do, you can always work, you can always think, and your quality of work that you produce is just ridiculous. Like, it's fucking out of this world. It's literally game changer after game changer. Everything you do is game changing, right? Now, imagine if they have that blueprint, so they know that everything should be oscillating like this, right? Or like that, if they're higher level, right? Because when you're happy, you're vibrating at a higher frequency, right? When you're sad, you're very slow. And then if you're broken, there's like parts of the wave that should be there that aren't, right? Now, people like that, you could be telling them something, but if you're lying, they'll just know because they can feel that something is missing. Maybe like, obviously, first of all, your energy is just a huge sign, right? Second of all, then like your story won't add up because the lie never adds up, no matter how good the liar is. It just doesn't. If you ask at least 3 questions, it'll just break, right? Not even 3. If one good question, it's like fucking. It's like David knowing where to hit the Cyclops at, type of shit. So like they'll just always know, right? If something is missing, something has been stolen, they'll know because it doesn't add up, right? And this will manifest in maybe key parts of the books maybe not being there, things just out of place, shit like that. Things in the business that should be at a higher level in terms of potential being unleashed that aren't, right? Something as simple as not having up-to-date OS systems on their fucking cashier machines. Things like that. It's so funny, right? Little things that to most people wouldn't matter, but to someone that can, I guess, operate at that level maybe would, right? So when you think about that, and then you realize that, holy shit, all I have to do is just work on finding my rhythm or finding that cadence, finding that swag, harmonic resonance, and doing everything in my life, engineering every single part of my life to make sure that I'm always there, maybe even amplifying it, right? So the content that I consume, right? The stuff that I do, the thoughts that I think, the words that I say, and the actions that I take, right? Those things, and then just doing it over and over and over and over and over again, right? Now, to kind of go back to the whole girl thing, I feel like a lot of times it sucks that that happens because on some level, we're both at fault. And if I like to think about it, I feel like we should all just work on being the best version of ourselves first, just for ourselves, and then it will translate to just better things all around, better relationships, better understanding of one another. You will understand that he's angry because you said this to him yesterday and it kind of hurt his feelings and he didn't know how to take it, right? And you'll both develop a greater level of connection because you'll be more empathetic towards one another. And empathetic in a real, genuine way, not just in like, yes, and then just wanting them to shut up, but actually listening with your heart and your mind so that your soul can be there, right? And I feel like on top of that, it would also solve all this bullshit, like societal issues, like we get with, for example, the whole, just like, like me to sing, what was I gonna sing? Oh, blank, I'm blanking. Oh yeah, fucking the workplace issues, right? Like one thing I'm saying is like, equal pay, right? I think that's absolutely true, but at the same time, I feel like if girls are wanting to be paid equal, then they should also work equally as hard as men do, right? They should have that same the what do they call it? The playing field should be leveled, and this includes also just like for us using our masculine polarity because you have to remember that when you're spiritually grounded, right, when you're centered, and then more so when you're awake, like they say, woke, you're able to access higher parts of yourself. Like you're able to be more in tune with the present moment and do things, right? Like use powers of, I don't want to call it push or pushing, but just using more of your being, right, to manifest your reality. That's a great way of putting it, right? And because we're coming to a realization that, hey, actually, it's not okay to be aggressive all the time, especially if we're coming from the wrong intent and having bad intentions with it, right? So we're learning to actually be more at ease with whatever it is with the moment and allowing it to unfold and play out essentially, and focusing more on developing a connection with the moment, a relationship with the moment, so that what may occur may be best for all, right? But at the same time as we're doing that, I feel like girls should also learn to do the same thing for them. Like, not use their fucking tits and ass and sweet voice to essentially charm us, right? Because charm is magic, right? Charm is a power, and you can easily access it. Girls are, from a very early age, taught to use their charm magic a lot sooner and a lot better than us guys, right? And I feel like it's kind of fucked up to essentially build your entire life on those things, right? If we're not to use our stuff, you shouldn't be allowed to use your stuff too. We should all be forced to essentially go at zero. And like, are you really a good person? Because by doing that, it's really leveling the playing field. And on top of that, it would solve so much bullshit issues that we see, like guys doing things that they later regret, right? Or girls falling into situations that they later regret. I mean, literally, I shit you not, to this day, there's still people who essentially raise their girls to essentially get married or to trap someone or to find someone that they can lock down, get married with, and that can provide for them for their whole life. Literally. And it's sad because these same girls are so fucking talented. I mean, the fucking potential residing in them is mind-blowing. But they're literally told to just cut out those parts of themselves and just stick to bullshit. And it's just tragic because the world does not move forward doing that, right? Those gifts and talents that they have could literally be game changers in arenas or areas of realms of life that we have no ideas. It could literally be the thing that brings back dragons. I'm just kidding. But it's things like that. Like, I don't know, because the small things are always what causes every big thing to occur, right? So it's like pigeonholing them for no reason other than this is what's always been done. And I think it's just so retarded, right? And to kind of go back to that, I was saying that, like, it's all about, in my opinion, I've come to realize the way someone runs their business is kind of also the way someone runs their life, right? And I feel like a lot of times businesses don't want to do social media because they know damn well they're not running their family or they're not raising their kids the way they should. And to do that would be to be exposed. So social media is such a fucking game changer, and literally in ways we have not even begun to realize, because it's gonna expose so much bullshit, and it's gonna be cool because at the same time it's gonna provide such a game changing level of awareness and learning, and also of inner fortitude. Because I know there's a lot of people, both girls and guys, in situations where their family are telling them to do something that they know damn well isn't right, but they just don't have that inner fortitude. They don't know where to turn, right? But with social media now, with like fucking YouTube University, with like social networks popping up out of the place, and with the ease of access to them, right? They're able to actually now get that inner fortitude, that strength, to essentially be able to do the right thing amidst all that bullshit. And I think the greatest blessing out of all this is it truly helps make the world lighter. Because as much as I just razzed on those families, I've come to realize that like we have to understand that like the previous generations had wars, like world wars, and on top of that, revolutions and like um, being raised in eras where you could literally get killed for saying the wrong thing, to even like it was okay to just abuse family or wives, spouses, just really gruesome and gritty ass shit like that, right? And you can tell that it's made them really dense, right? Obviously, because when you do the wrong thing, your energy becomes really heavy, right? And I fucking hate sounding so like, yeah, your energy, bro. It's your energy. But it's like literally the simplest way I can put it, right? Because I feel like it's like the thing that we can all recognize. Kind of like, I always picture Dragon Ball Z. I'm so grateful for that show. Like, just being raised around that, fuck yeah. But, like, you can tell it's made them dense. And I feel like us, this generation, can be game changers for them and for the coming ones, because we can set the example and say, yo, this is not cool anymore, and create a completely new cycle, allowing the ones after us to just be born in a radically different world, right? So by being patient, by being empathetic, by being understanding, you'll not only help them lighten their load and realize, I don't need to be an asshole anymore because it's just so stupid to do it. And I never really understood, but I never realized how much the suffering and the hardest experiences I went through in my life, seeing maybe all this atrocious shit, growing up in this way, caused me to be such a negative and shitty person. But I'm realizing now that I don't need to be like that anymore, and I can change. And yeah, maybe some of my friends won't understand it, but we haven't tried anything new. I haven't lived my way, my life any differently. And this is I guess, a new way. And I want to see what this is about. And like, by us being cool and chill and calm, and not like reacting to their bullshit. Because I know like sometimes family's really fucking hard on you. Dude, no one can destroy you like your mom. But it's like, at the same time, if you can see that and take it as like emotional toughness, like if you can handle that, then you can handle the world, right? Like if you can handle the bullshit thrown at you by your family, the ones that love you the most and the ones that are closest to you, you can handle anyone's bullshit. So if you can just reframe it in that way, while just still being cool and doing your own thing, doing business online, like being an entrepreneur online, creating content that like makes the world lighter, you can help them and give them more reasons to believe in a new way of living in the world, thus creating a new world. Because I believe we're all here to help the others, just like the youngsters. And it's like, if everyone did their part, like the plethora of wisdom and information and experience we'd have available would just be mind-blowing. And that's another thing, like, fully believe they have a lot to tell us. They have a lot of like magical secrets that's been in the family for eons and eons and eons, and that they'd love to share. But at the same time, they also feel like maybe we're not ready, right? And just, I would do the same fucking thing if I was Thor's father and I saw that Thor was not fucking, He was a young boy who, instead of just being at ease and okay with himself, was always trying to prove himself. I would strip him of everything he had and put a seal on his power, and then the moment when he is wise enough, he would get it. Because if you have a reality shaping tech or equipment, a piece of knowledge, you would do everything possible to make sure that whoever uses it is wise enough to wield it. Especially if it could wreck like everything, land, blah blah blah, the world itself, right? And on top of that, it's kind of interesting to note how, on some level, Thor's dad's karma is coming back to him in the shape of Thor's reckless behavior, because Thor's dad spent a good bit of his life raging war, right? And then towards the end, after the frost giant war, apparently he stopped. He's like, okay, I changed now. But still, he didn't. I mean, he wasn't like humble about it. And he even ended on a bad note, taking the fucking ice heart, right? So now it comes back. His karma ripens in his son being just as he was. And so what happened? He had to fucking literally die. Literally, to essentially cleanse himself of that karma, right? And create a new cycle. So it's pretty interesting how when you do fucked up shit, you know, when they talk about how, like, the sins of the father comes back to the sons. So on some level, the shit they did, we're having to deal with it too. And in some way, I guess maybe they even hope that we help them cleanse themselves of that karma by being good. But the cool thing in this world is everyone has to do the work themselves, right? It's no longer to where, like, we are always just cleaning up their mess, right? But now, this ecosystem, this world has been worked on so much to where now they don't even need to rely on us to do anything. They have access to the knowledge and wisdom and the path for the work that they must undertake to purify themselves, essentially. That was Carly. That was gnarly. So I feel like by us just being light, we're also showing them, giving them more reasons to believe in us, to open up to us, to even tell us their story. Like, it'd be so cool to hear about how my family, but even like my grandparents lived, how they grew up, the shit that they had to go through, you know, because it's cool. It's stuff that you will never be able to experience yourself. But when they tell it to you, it makes you appreciate much more what you have, right? So, yeah. And also, I feel like it just helps create connections everywhere. Because I feel like a lot of times today, our generation, we're like so not impatient, but we just get frustrated about the fact that, like, our parents don't get it. Like, we have YouTube University now. We can jump into careers if we just apply it to ourselves, and we can just do a lot of shit. And they're more old-fashioned, and we have to understand, like, yeah, I mean, they grew up with a lot of, like, mobsters. So someone doing business at their time was probably doing drugs or selling drugs, you know? It's not like today where, like, it's turned into, like, economic development, or, you know, what's that? Or, like, global development, to say the least. But it's like, you have to also remember that on some level it's kind of good, because it's like, it helps you probably by saving you from making a lot of stupid decisions. Because despite everything, there are still a lot of bullshit out there online today. So sometimes when they say no, it's probably because they can feel the vibe and they know That vibe is just like that one crook in our era. So it's like, don't give up on your family, but at the same time, you don't have to rely on them, right? If you want to do your own thing, do your own thing. But it's like, it's all about that fucking spirit of service and helping out, right? Because you'll never know how much you've impacted someone's lives. Sometimes just by the smallest things. You just never know. You just really never know. And it's those things that just give you chills when you think about it sometimes. When maybe like one day if someone hadn't said hello to you, or hey dude, you're a cool dude, you might have committed suicide, or you might have like just done something stupid, some fucking school shooting. But just that one, hey, son, it just made you lighter, and you're like, fuck, bro, like, what am I doing? Because remember, it's all a state of mind, right? I feel like even the people we call evil, it's either all a state of mind, or it's all dependent arising or karma, which is essentially the idea that there is a reason why this is happening, right? Like fucking Thor, and that's another thing I hate. Like, I feel like even mythologies, fucking Bible, all this shit, like, I feel like so much shit has just been not taken out of context, but just misconstrued. Like, I don't believe Thor and Loki fought. I believe that maybe what we perceive as fighting was something else, right? Because of our mind and our adversity, or our tendency to fall to the state of mind of attachment, of ego gratification, we projected that as, they're enemies, we're enemies. Because they're bros. And I believe in, like, God realms, like, there's no such thing as fucking fighting. Like, Hades and all that shit. More than anything, he's probably pissed because he thinks that, like, humans think that, like, fucking Zeus just always sends people to his realm for purification when they can be purified anywhere, if anything, right? Or it's like fucking in Thor, for example. I'd be pissed too if someone came and stole the fucking heart of our city and then try to be all righteous about it. Especially if they've already got the fucking golden cup. Like, why do you need the icy heart for? Give me back my heart. Like, give everyone what belongs to them, and then ask what belongs to you, and everything will be okay. And the funny thing is, that icy heart is probably what connects and powers their world and allows them to provide game-changing shit to the universe. And when you take it away from them, you're not allowing them to be at their best, right? Just so much shit, and it's crazy when, like, you think about how, if you think about it, if someone, like, is mad at you, or it's probably because you did something to them in the past. So just ask them, say sorry, sincerely mean it, make amends. Almost always like, listen to your grievances. It's like someone's like calling in customer support and telling you that they want something. Just listen to them and give them what they want. It's like not fucking hard. Like, how is this so hard to understand? Like, it just makes no sense to me. How sometimes, like, why would you ignore that? That is so dumb. Especially when you think about how a lot of the time, God, the universe, like higher beings, even cotillion like they don't come to you like in riches. They always send like, remember in like all the tales of God or higher beings, it always comes in like the shittiest fucking form, just to test the fuck out of your integrity. Like, is this person really sees everybody else as a human being and loves them just as he would like to be loved? Let me see. I shall come as a leper. I shall come as a beggar. I shall come as a poor person. I should come as an annoying person. Like all this shit. Brother, I feel like I use like God and spirituality and all this shit a lot. And like, it's just, I don't know other words to like phrase that. Like, those are like the terms that like, I feel like are universally understood. Like, everyone can really, it's like faith. What is faith? God. Oh yeah. Higher intelligence. Oh yeah. Star Brothers / aliens. Oh yeah. That makes perfect sense. Like religion. Yeah, that makes sense. Church, bro, church. But it's like, I'm not trying to like be like, yeah, I'm self-righteous. Cause like I fucking love girls too and having sex and stuff. Like I'm just the same. But it's like, I don't know, it's things like that just runs across my mind, and it's just how I come to see it being the best way to communicate the idea. But yeah, that was a fucking lot. It's like combo, 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 fatality, exposed. I'm just kidding. Oh my god. Oh Lord. But yeah. Just do the right thing. Just do the right thing, man. Just be nice. Just be cool. Just be nice, man. Just be nice. Just be nice. Just be nice. Have good manners. Kiss him. Kiss. Kiss. Say I love you. I love you. I wanna hold you. I wanna hug you. And everything will just work out. Anyways, hope you guys get something out of this. And as always, swag the fuck out.
Super Mario. T.